It's very much like a romance novel, like the Colleen
I was just gonna,
Hoover
you know what?
kind of
I was
thing.
gonna say that it reminds me a little bit of just a more risque Twilight.
Yes,
Like,
100%.
you know what I mean?
Like Twilight opened this door
Which
for
I
girls.
certainly wasn't like, I wasn't into. Welcome to another episode of Is This for Kids? I am Jonathan Bearded Blevins.
I am Katie, MrsRuvi.
And we are continuing our Netflix week of Netflix movies that we are reviewing and or TV shows.
Yeah, Week O Netflix is what it is.
Ooh.
It's the Week O Netflix.
And full transparency, this movie is kind of your expertise.
Yeah, we designed this
it.
episode so that I can describe it to you and you can like be the voice of the parents out there to kind of ask those questions. And we're going to kind of like have a little bit of a dialogue about it because the movie that we're talking about is one of the most popular movies amongst high school girls right now. And in being so, also middle school girls are starting to fumble into this. The Kissing Booth. Have you heard of it? I
have not, except for from you. So that's good news, I guess. I don't really know what's on the radar there.
Yeah. So The Kissing Booth is a comedy that came out in 2021. It's a movie, so it's like I think almost 2 hours long. It's like an hour and 45 minutes long. And it is about Elle and Lee. Elle is the main character and her best friend Lee. They were born on the same day to mothers who were best friends with one another. Oh, they grew up together.
The dream.
Yeah, so great. One boy, one girl. So they're a boy and girlfriend pair. They love dancing together. They go to the arcade and play Dance Dance Revolution all the time. And eventually throughout the course of like the opening montage, you learn that Elle's mom died while she was still quite young. And so her Lee's parents have sort of stepped in there to like take that role. The mom is there. And the mom's Molly Ringwald, which is great. But anyway, Lee and Elle have grown up. They always have their birthday parties together. They have these like best friend rules that include things like always be happy for your bestie. If somebody apologizes, you have to forgive them if they give you ice cream. And very most importantly, never fall in love with one of the other's relatives, which seems incredibly relevant because only one of them, well, I guess they both have brothers, but Lee has an older brother named Noah who just happens to be extremely attractive. And clearly 30 years old.
No rules, though, about dating each other.
No rules about dating each other, but actually that never comes up throughout the episode. Like Lee is not interested in Elle at all, but Elle has clearly had a crush on Noah for some time, and so this whole like not being allowed to date her best friend's brother has sort of been a problem, but only a little because she kind of assumes that Noah sees her as like a little kid, like a little friend.
And how old are they?
So they're in 11th grade, and then
so
Noah is a senior. So they're 1 year apart there. So the whole premise of the movie is that Elle and Lee are coming up with a fundraiser for the dance club at the like school fair thing that apparently the school is incredibly well funded. They've got a fair, and the dance club comes up with a kissing booth where people are going to pay money to kiss someone. Is this something that would have happened at your high school?
No shot. There's no way it would be allowed. It's actually funny because when you said the movie's called The Kissing Booth, I thought like a lemonade stand. Yes. But I was kind of joking in my head.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. Like they were trying to, so like the whole thing is
I'm just be honest, that would not be allowed at my high school. And I went to a giant public school.
Yeah, I went to a giant public school as well. It never would have happened. Not in a million years. Now, you do get kind of the impression that this is a private school because they're all in uniforms. In fact, there's a really inappropriate scene at the very beginning where Elle, like they're constantly making jokes about Elle having her body changed over the summer. So she's like 9th grade skirt on an 11th grade body. Great. And she goes to school in a skirt that her underpants are clearly visible multiple times as she's walking through this. So you're watching this supposed to be teenage girl's panties in school, and you think to yourself, like, girl, why wouldn't you just put on sweatpants? You're going to get dress coded one way or the other. You might as well not show everybody your underwear.
Yeah.
It's wild what's going on. But anyway, so Elle and Noah start dating.
She broke the rule.
Oh, she breaks the rule, yeah. And that's sort of the whole movie is them sneaking around together trying to decide how they're going to tell Lee. So just off of that description, does it sound like it's appropriate for kids?
No, it's not.
Well, pretend I didn't say the panties part. Like I'm your kid coming to you. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm 14 years old now. I really want to watch this show called The Kissing Booth. It's really cute. It's this girl who falls in love with her best friend's older brother. Can I watch it, please, Daddy? Everybody at my school has watched it.
So red flags for sure, but my gut reaction is probably not no, without you telling me that it's like a little bit messed up.
Right. That's how it's going to be described to you by your teenager.
Yep.
And so
That was a really good impression. Well done.
I'm a fantastic teenage girl. My daughter doesn't sound like that, by the way, at all. So some things that would come up, like you might hear that and be like, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. This movie has a lot of language, pretty much every swear you can think of. I don't want to read them all off for you because I'm confident you know a lot of swears, but you know, just ones that have to do with women, ones that have to do with, you know, just all of them, just all the swears.
What's it? Real quick, I'm sorry. What's it rated?
Okay, so this is what's fun about this. Netflix is not subject to the same rating requirements as network TV. So they rate it TV 14. A parent could see that and think, well, okay, Friends is rated TV 14.
Sure.
Fine, then I'll let my kid watch it. On Netflix, that pretty much just means they won't show any boobs. Everything else is fair game.
Interesting.
Pretty much. Like they have sex, very obviously, in front of the Hollywood sign, as most people lost their virginity in front of the Hollywood sign, right?
Wow.
Wild. Anyway, she's like shown from the chest up, bare from the chest up. Having done that, there's drinking, teen drinking, that like some of the languages and some of the words that are in there. He's like, tell me you're not effing my brother. Like that's one of the lines that's in there, and you're like, whoo, okay. Like this is not euphemism. We're not going there. We're going straight at it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sex. She's buying condoms in front of people. Like, it's just a very strange, like, who is this made for? Why are we showing a teenage girl's panties? Why are we showing teenage kids having sex in public pretty regularly? So it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty inappropriate. What are your thoughts? Just hearing this as a parent.
It's I'm a little shocked after you asked me like what I would think from what you initially said without saying anything inappropriate about the dress code. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, yeah, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. That there's all that stuff in it. That would never fly in a PG-13 movie. Never. And so to think that a Netflix could put it as TV 14, mm-hmm. And have PG-13, like you get like one F-bomb, I think. Yeah. Even then, like a lot of them don't even use it. So the fact that they're saying it in that context, I don't think you could do that in a PG-13 movie. And so what's the difference between one extra year and how do you allow so much other content happening? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Yeah, and I think a lot of parents will be surprised to learn that Netflix does not have, like, they made up their own rating system. They're regulated by no one. So the FCC regulates network TV. This is, think back to 2003 when the Janet Jackson thing happened at the Super Bowl and people were fined massively, right? Yep. And so parents used to be able to say, like, it would be fine for you to watch that show if it was on, TGIF or whatever, because that rating system is there to protect your kid. But Netflix made up their own rating system, and parents are not aware of the huge discrepancy between the network one and the one on Netflix. And you can't trust that Netflix is going to be fined if they do something completely inappropriate. So one of the things that I think parents aren't realizing is that Netflix is the new HBO. When I was a kid, like when I would go over to sleepovers house or at somebody's house and my mom knew they had HBO, but she would be like, don't you dare be watching HBO at Maggie, or at not Maggie's house, that's my daughter's name, at Abby's house. Like you cannot do that. Absolutely not. Our parents were aware to be, to tell us that. And that's not the same. Like people aren't looking out for Netflix as being that big red flag. Yeah. I wasn't allowed to watch MTV, let alone HBO. Right, absolutely. No, but that's interesting. So you go back to your question where you said, "Who's this made for?" Yeah. Well, who the heck is it made for? Because from what you described, doesn't sound like someone in college would like it because they're a little old for a high school romantic relationship. It's not made for 35-year-old dads. Yeah. So if it's made for high school age kids, why? Yeah, and that's the thing is like the characters don't look like high school age kids. So the guy who plays the main love interest, Noah, he's also the main guy, Nate, in Euphoria. So like this guy with this incredibly chiseled jawline, like he looks like a 30-year-old man. It's very strange that they're trying to adultify teenagers. Yeah. And they're trying to normalize teenage sexual interaction when every single study shows that kids in this generation are having way less sex in high school than they were even in our generation. Yeah. So it's wild that we're depicting them as if this is a thing that's happening regularly and that it's normal. The behavior's not normal, and I don't know what it is that they're trying to put out there. So I think it's an opportunity because, like I told you at the beginning, this is a really popular show for kids. Like I put up a couple of surveys on my Instagram asking my daughter to share them amongst high school friends. Like, did you watch this show? Did you watch that show? And
overwhelmingly, some of the teachers from her high school would come and DM me on Instagram and say, like, the kids are talking about the show all the time.
Wow.
This is a very popular show. If you think your kids haven't seen it, you maybe want to like just start some conversations.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I've never even heard of it. And I'm pretty with it these
You're
days.
very cool.
It's been a while since I directly worked with that age group for my job. But yeah, I've never even heard of this until you brought it up.
Yeah. So my worry is that so many kids are willing to say that they've watched it. I've heard them talk about it. Like, I've chaperoned youth events. I know that they're watching this show.
Yeah.
And so many parents are saying, oh, well, my kid's not watching anything like that. Your kid has seen it. So it's time to have some conversations. One of the questions that I kind of role played with my daughter that I talked to her about, I was like, you know, Elle and Noah's relationship very quickly becomes sexual. Is that what you're experiencing in your high school? And just to like call that into question, is that really happening? And if it is, okay, great. What are some good rules to keep put in place when you're talking to boys to keep that from escalating to that point? We have a shared friend, Patrick, who has some really great rules. He does a podcast called The Crunch that has some dating advice. It's great. But he has some rules where he's like, all right, for high school girls, no texting after dark. Never text a boy after dark.
Yep.
Only bad things happen if you're texting a boy after dark, right? No hanging out after dark without there being like a large people in public, you know? And if a boy texts you, what are you doing? The answer is always homework.
Always homework.
Always homework. You know what can never be sexy? Homework. Homework is
or
sexy.
watching The Bachelor.
Yeah, absolutely. But gosh, when you think of Netflix, are you automatically assuming that everything that's out there is a little bit concerning?
I wasn't.
For me,
I
now,
wasn't, but now I probably am.
Yeah. After we put this week of content together, something being on Netflix is a red flag for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is for me now too. I will say this too, like for people who might watch this and be like, look at these two, you know,
giant prudes.
Yeah, like, and we're not like you.
No.
We watch all this stuff. We're open-minded about it. But it sounds weird. It sounds like it's targeting on purpose. And it just feels weird. What's the point of doing that? Other than just, it's a money grab. Maybe it's just a money grab. They knew that high school age kids would like it or talk about it or feel like they're doing something, that they shouldn't be doing. And they're kind of bragging about that. And so maybe that was what they did on purpose and it's working.
Yeah. And if you're in a situation where like this is really kind of softcore porn for teens. Like it's very emotionally grabbing. It's that kind of a thing. I'm not saying don't watch this with don't let your kid watch this, because by the time your kid is interested in this, there is good luck. Like, how are you going to stop it? Like, they're going to go to your friend's house, unless you're going to be on that kid 100% of the time. You can't forbid children from seeing things like this by the time they're 15 years old. So if they have an interest in it, I'm telling you, this is my new life rule that, like, if your kid wants to watch a show that you think might be inappropriate, let's watch it together on the big TV. No, you know why? Because your kid's gonna, if you're the first time that they start having sex with two teenagers and you're sitting on the couch next to your mom, you're gonna be like, never mind, Mom, I don't want to watch this. I'm done. And you're like, well, hang on, sissy. Let's talk about this for a minute. What was going on there? Is that how you feel with, but like you can open that door for those conversations. Maybe your kid will watch the whole way through, but at least you were there. At least you were engaging, you know?
Yeah.
As parents, we cannot be on the sidelines anymore.
Good. I mean, it does sound like one of those things where I wouldn't watch it with any of my kids.
Well, your kid is 9.
No, but I mean, like, you could.
Yeah.
Like a mom thing.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, a bunch of guys watching this too? Like, and your feedback that you requested?
I have not known. Most of the teachers said that it was the girls. Okay. The girls are watching this kind of thing. It's very much like a romance novel, like the Colleen Hoover
you know what?
kind of
I was going to say that it reminds me a little bit of just a more risque Twilight.
Yes.
Like, 100%. You know what I mean?
Like, Twilight opened this door
for
girls.
Which I certainly wasn't I wasn't into.
Yeah, not you and not
me listening to Secondhand Serenade, heartbroken reading Twilight books.
Yeah. Nope, I was definitely part of it. But there's a lot of conversations to be had from it, and I think we need to start playing these on the big TV. Yeah. Let's watch them together.
There you go. That's great advice. Well done.
Where could people find out more about our little podcast?
Go to isthisforkids.com. Check us out. We're very active on Instagram and YouTube. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, and we really want your feedback and 5-star reviews, of course, only. And then and then like negative stuff can just be put in the Instagram comments for sure.
Only on John's Instagram, please do not.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I don't want any. I'm good. Hey, there's just so much content out there for parents.
I'm Jonathan Beard of Blevins.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi. Let us help you decide.
Is this for kids?